Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Intrix and I'm back again with another Conquerors Blade video. This time I'm going to be covering one of the new units to Season 5, the Zykalian Militia. It's kind of an interesting type of unit. I don't know if it plays the way that it was meant to play. It's definitely an interesting type of situational type of unit. Their icon is kind of interesting too, but we're not going to go there. So let's just get straight into it. This unit does do blunt damage. So I added the blunt damage doctrine, blunt damage. I increased damage to units. I don't know if I want to put the assassination where it does extra damage to warlords. I might do that. And obviously health, because health. Are these a squishy unit? Yeah, they are. And they really have one type of playstyle and one type of purpose. All they do is just throw stuff. They cannot fight. So yeah, we'll get down into the mechanics of this unit, and we'll go straight to the veteran C tree here. I did play with both. I started with the bottom tree, and then I switched with the top tree. And I'm starting to think that maybe the top tree might be the best way to go. Although I would say that either tree is good depending on how you want to play this unit. At the end of the day, I still don't see either one of these trees really making this unit shine. It's a unit that probably would do well in very, very certain scenarios, which is not very much. Also, this unit is not really an attacking unit at all. It's more for defense. It's really hard to use them in sieges because you kind of need them behind a shield wall. And lately I just find that a lot of people just don't bring shields to a siege battle. They bring gunners and they bring archers. So yeah, we'll just break down the veteran C tree here right quickly. And I'll compare the two based on how I play. As well as I have footage of them being used. So right off the get-go you get an extra 6% of health. Now I went with the bottom tree, so increases maximum range by 5. Increases ammo by 10%, which is nice. You get an additional 9% of health. Increases the maximum range again by 5. This one I thought was quite interesting. Increases the blunt damage by hellfire. So how is it that the fire is doing the blunt damage? Well, it's probably more so when the pots, if you will, kind of hits that hero and it gives it that blunt damage. Increases ammo by another 20%, and that stacks twice. So at that point, that really helps this unit. And then you get an extra 10% of range. So altogether, you're going to get 20 extra range, which puts it up to 45, which is not that far to begin with, but it does let them stay back a little bit more. Now, what I come to find is that these guys throw really slow, and they don't throw that well. And when they do throw, there is a bit of that delay, so they're going to throw to wherever you point it to. Or they do have the number 1 skill, which is the proxy throw, so they'll throw to whatever is closest to them. And with that delay, if you don't have a unit or units kind of sitting around, if they're just moving, then they're not even really going to get hit. They're not going to get caught in that fire. It does burn on the bottom one, but like maybe for a second or two. The top one is where you start getting more of that effect. So we go to the top one, you get increased movement speed, which I will add is quite nice with this. It is really nice. Maxed out on the top tree, they're 6.2. That's a really decent speed for being what they are. It helps getting them out of a situation, but it also helps getting them into a situation. Each level reduces range damage taken by 5. I think they're squishy anyway, regardless of what comes their way or whatever hits them. But yeah, you know, I'll take it. Now, Hellfire sets light to the ground, burning for 3 seconds. Increases burning damage by 8%. That stacks 3 times. Another 3 seconds for Hellfire burning on the ground. Increases movement speed again. That really helps. That really does help. And then increases the duration by an additional 2 seconds of burning on the ground. So, what have I thought between this tree and that tree? This tree, the bottom one, is a bit of a nuker. they do get a very generous amount of blunt damage down there, plus 200, right? So you can kind of nuke a unit, if you will, as long as you make that shot, if they get hit with it. The top tree is more of just controlling the map, if you will. If there's something there, like on a capture point, and you throw it, it's either going to rip them to shreds, or it's going to deter them from staying on that point. Same thing would apply to if you just want to stop something from coming in, say something is charging a gate or an alleyway, if you will. However, with the top tree, you are very limited in your range. It's almost reduced by half. You only got 5 points more to keep it from being slashed in half, and that range is not the greatest. As well as what I find with the proximity throw is that it throws to the nearest target towards it, but depending on how scattered this unit is, and there's only one formation, I find sometimes they'll throw the odd one in a different direction. With only 12 as part of the unit, that can make or break the whole thing, I would say. You need that DPS. So I would say that use the #1 proxy skill in moderation. You're probably better off just using the #2 and actually arcing the throws. And at least then that gives you the ability to kind of control. So if you want to predict where someone might go or whatever the case may be, that is the way to get that whole crowd control thing or the map control thing put into play, is by using #2. I still think that the top row is the best way to go about it. Yes, the range is nice, and yes, the extra ammo is nice. With the top tree, you're basically equivalent to, I would say, about Imp Javeliers, where the Imperial Javeliers gets about 3 throws, and that's best case scenario. When you go down the bottom tree, that goes to about 6 or 7 throws, but I would say more so about 6 throws, which is nice because, you know, there isn't much that you can do with these guys. The damage over time is kind of nice, and with the extended burn on the ground, that really starts playing a factor in the whole crowd control. At the end of the day, these guys don't rack up a tremendous amount of kills. It's a unit that just kind of is supposed to play the map and mold the map differently, although I just feel like it doesn't really do what it should do. Yeah, it is a militia. And what I've noticed is that you really got to be careful with throwing the pots because, one, they don't arc that high, so you can't just buff them up on a wall. They go about halfway. So basically the top of the arch of a gate is as far as they're going to go. Secondly, you're going to get caught on a lot of things. Just even one pole, one little wooden pole, is going to stop these things from hitting where they want to go. So you really got to make sure that when you're arcing and you're throwing, that they have a very clear line of sight. They can't have anything like a wall or a pole or any type of object in their way, or it's just going to clip the pots and they're going to smash, and then you're going to have fire lighting up in the air or on the pole or on the wall or something of that nature. At the end of the day, you know, what can I say? It's a half-decent unit. And when it comes to territory war, it probably will change the way that these wars are played, especially when it comes to gate play. Maybe even kind of bottlenecking a tower, if you will, if you kind of have them hanging back. This is a unit that you really have to babysit. You cannot just keep this unit standing, nor does keeping it standing really do anything anyway. You got to keep it moving, but you also got to keep it safe. You got to be understanding of your surroundings and know what's coming around, because this unit can easily get flanked, and if it does, it's pretty much dead. There's nothing that you can do with this unit to protect it other than making sure that you're just keeping it moving and that you're aware of its situation and you know what's coming around it. That way you keep it sustained. There's nothing else that you can do to keep it alive besides moving around and having map awareness. With that being said, we're going to flick over into some other footage here, and we're going to break down basically the pros and the cons of what I think as each tree is. At the end of the day, it is the first unit of the season, and as such, it is a situational unit. So you probably won't see this being played a whole lot. However, as we progress with the season, some of the other units will become available. I do know that 2 of the units are basically a variation of the Men-at-Arms and Spear Sergeants. I'm not going to promote my units. I'm just going to recruit new Men-at-Arms and new Spear Sergeants and just level them up. And then when the time comes and I unlock these units, I'll just promote them and play that way. A lot of people are going on about the death of the Spear Sergeants and all that. I don't really think that's the case, but that is for a video for another day. So with that being said, I hope this video was a little bit informative. Just keep in mind that this is a unit that is really, really, really kind of going to keep you back on the sidelines, and you're not really going to have a whole lot of moments to use it and use it quite well. That being said, the leadership cost as well is 165, which, you know, for a 3-star blue unit, that's pretty typical. In future seasons, that will go up a little bit more. Can I say that this is worth it for your warband? Only you can really make that call. I'm going to say no, but at the same time, I just find it hard to put myself in a scenario where I can really value this unit. There was a few moments where this unit kind of helped, but again, I just feel like it's lacking the oomph. Now, with Season 5, there was changes to fireproofing, and that it's no longer fireproof. So, we're going to let's just bring up another unit here and see what that's all about now. So, resist flame. But it doesn't really break down how resistant these units are. They will kind of take flame damage dots eventually, the more that they're hit. This would probably help more so the incendiary archers have a little bit more oomph in their battles now, especially with these top tier units. This particular unit here, it just seems to work well when you go the top tree and when you use that hellfire and you sustain that hellfire duration. As long as you can get a unit staying in there, it will do a hell of a lot of damage. But again, you gotta land the shots, and you also gotta line up the shots so that they actually land and actually do that damage. Otherwise, you're just wasting throws, and then you're running back to a supply point. And you know, given that I do not have the doctrine that increases the ammo yet by 20%, so I don't know how many throws that they can get on that top tree. I would assume probably more 4 to 5-ish at that point. I highly doubt that they'll get 6 because they don't get all of the extra ammunition as they do with the bottom tree. Regardless, it's still a half-decent unit, and it will be interesting to see how this unit plays in territory wars, but other than that, that's all I can really say. So with that, I'm going to conclude this video. You guys have a wonderful day.